Alright, guys, so this is another Patreon request, and this one comes from my good friend Jason Voorhees 2011, who asked me to do a Superman Sailor Moon crossover, so this is going to be a really fun one. Yeah, but as always, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon where you guys can start sending me requests for videos to do here on YouTube. But other than that, let's get started with the video. So, yeah. So Superman Sailor Moon. So the story begins in Japan, and what happens is that one night, while Usagi and Chibi are asleep in their house, something comes to creep in and attack them, and that is parademons. And it's parademons that attack them. They immediately turn into Sailor Moon and Chibi Moon. They get assisted by Tuxedo Mask. They manage to fight them off, and of course the ensuing battle does get the attention of the other Sailor Guardians. So so they do take out the parademons, and some escape, but others they're looking over the body and they're like, what the hell is this? And Mars is like, that's a parademon. And they're like, para what? And she's like, you idiots, do you guys not watch the news? These things fight the Justice League all the time. They're minions of Darkseid. And that immediately catches their attention, because the word Darkseid makes them go, oh shit. That's an immediately... it's an immediate oh shit moment for them to hear the name Darkseid, because everyone has heard that name, and so they realize if Darkseid is gunning for them, they're in serious trouble. So, but they want to know why. Why is Darkseid coming after? Why is Darkseid coming for them? And they're like, well, if there's anyone who can help us, it's Superman. Superman's the only one of the few people who can stop, Darkseid. So maybe we can find a way to contact him, get him to help us. So they're like, oh yeah, let's just put a giant S in the sky and see if that attracts his attention. And they're like, or we can, I don't know, maybe go to Metropolis and ask for his help. And they're like, that's Usagi's idea, is why don't we just go to Metropolis and ask for Superman's help? And meanwhile Makoto is like, no, these are parademons, they're that's what Darkseid is throwing at us. We can totally take them. We don't need Superman. And to which Ray reminds everyone, it's not just parademons, you idiot. This is just basically the first wave. What's going to happen when Darkseid sends someone else, or worse, after us? And we still don't know why he's coming why Darkseid is doing this. So it's decided they'll go to Metropolis and meet Superman directly. Meanwhile, back on Apokolips, the surviving parademons come back and report to Darkseid that they had failed, and Darkseid immediately omega beams the shit out of all of them and is like, there is no failure, only death. So Darkseid is like, I'm gonna have to send something a lot stronger this time. So he calls Kalibak and Steppenwolf. He calls the two of them and says, go get some parademons, and you two will go. And Kalibak's like, Father, I can totally do this by myself. And Steppenwolf's, I don't need him. And Darkseid goes, you'll go, and you'll bring me the girl. So they go. Steppenwolf and Kalibak now go, because now Darkseid is like, our first attempt failed. They're no doubt going to get the Kryptonian to aid them. If we need, now we have to act fast, because now we have to keep the Kryptonian out of it. We have to keep the Kryptonian from discovering our plot. So get your asses in gear and get going. And that's exactly what happens, is that Kalibak Calabac and Steppenwolf go with a bunch of parademons, and this time they get boom tuned out. And Darkseid tells Granny, get prepared. I will bring you the girl, and I will finally have my new leader of the female Furies. Yeah. So meanwhile, in Metropolis, the Sailor Senshi have arrived in Metropolis, and they immediately go to the Daily Planet, like, "Excuse me, Miss Lane? Hi, we're the Sailor Guardians. Do you know where Superman is?" And Clark is like, hang on, Lois, I need to go do a thing. So Clark takes off, and she's like, "God damn it, Clark. Did you have to make it awkward?" This is obviously they're married, so she's already aware, like, "Oh God, Clark, can't you just, like, you're still a farm boy." So Lois tells them, like, "Yeah, Superman will arrive. Superman will come and hear what you have to say. Can I get an interview, because we never meet you?" By that point, however, Superman arrives, and they, Superman and the Sailor Guardians, who obviously are like, "Holy shit, we're talking to Superman." And they tell him, like, what's going on, like, what is the problem. And they tell him straight up, like, the problem is parademons. We got attacked by parademons, we don't know why, and we don't know why, because we know that's connected to Darkseid. And he's like, "Do you know why he came after you?" And Sailor Moon makes the thought of, well, they were trying to attack me and Chibi Moon, and we're connected to a great power source, so maybe Darkseid wants that. However, by that point, that's when Calabac and Steppenwolf and their little parade shows up, and yeah, they team up and fight. And during the fight, Calabac and Sailor Moon are fighting. He's like, "Why do you want me?" And Calabac's like, "We never wanted you." And that's when Sailor Moon's like, "Oh shit, they're after Chibi." And sure enough, Steppenwolf has Chibi. They bounce back to Darkseid. They bounce back to Apocalypse, and yeah. So now Superman and the Sailor Guardians have to go to Apocalypse to rescue Chibi. And it turns out that the reason why Darkseid wanted Chibi Moon was because when she became Dark Lady, he could actually, like, he felt the eminence of just pure evil emanating off of her, that he felt it, and was like, "Yeah, you are perfect. I always wanted someone to replace like, if I couldn't get Kara Zor-El, I always wanted a new leader of the female Furies, and I want the Dark Lady back, and Granny is gonna help you regain those powers." So yeah, by this point, Superman and the Sailor Senshi arrive on Apocalypse, and Superman and Sailor Moon engage Darkseid, but he's like, "You wish to see your daughter? Here, see her again." And she's become Dark Lady again, and she's like, "No." So Usagi's just like, "No." And he's like, "Yes, my perfect Fury." So Darkseid says, like, if she's free to leave if she wants to, and that's when Dark Lady and Superman's like, "You son of a bitch, you did it again. First a Kara, now another child." So a fight breaks out between Superman goes for Darkseid, and Dark Lady and Sailor Moon duke it out. Meanwhile, the rest of the Sailor Guardians are doing battle on Apocalypse, battling like Warhounds and Parademons and other of Darkseid's minions like Steppenwolf, Calabac, Desaad, Granny Goodness and the Female Furies, Mantis, all of them. And it all just kind of really just culminates into just a full-on, just bloody, all-out fight across Apocalypse. And eventually, and Darkseid even makes the note of, there's no Batman to, save you. There's no Batman here to take my, take over my Hellspores. And Superman goes, "Yeah, but you don't understand how powerful Sailor Moon is. She could crack the planet in half if she wanted to. Is that something you really want?" And sure enough, Sailor Moon is going full power, and it's already like breaking the planet apart. And Darkseid is like, "What are your terms, Kryptonian?" And he's like, "Release the girl, and maybe she won't blow up your planet." So yeah, Darkseid frees her. She goes back to being Chibi Moon, and the team escapes, but not before Usagi is like, "You hurt my child, and for that, I won't forgive you." So what Usagi does is just go full Sailor Moon Crystal and just take a chunk out of Apocalypse just to spite Darkseid at the end. Just to completely like take a chunk out of Apocalypse and then just bounce, because now it's like I've permanently like that little scar on your planet, that's going to always remind you that I gave you the biggest fucking black eye in the galaxy. Fuck you. So yeah. So there you go, guys. That is my Superman Sailor Moon crossover. I'd like to thank Jason Voorhees 2011 for this idea. This was a lot of fun, and as well as his continued patronage. But as always, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, where you guys can start sending me requests for videos to do here on YouTube. But other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.